Hi, it's Jessi. Today I'm drinking LaCroix because that's just who I am now. Today's video is going to be my anticipated 2022 releases. So I did this video last year, and just like before, just like when it was what it was last year, these are not necessarily books I'm going to prioritize. I never really prioritize new releases. They're just books I'm excited for. Also, just like that one, I'm reading the descriptions. There will be cute little graphics on the screen. And yeah, it's just me reading the descriptions of some books I'm interested in. So the first one on this list, I got my laptop. First one on this list is Where the Drowned Girls Go by Shauna McGuire. I'm actually a book behind on this series, but this is the next in the Wayward Children series. I'm not going to read you the synopsis of this one because it's theoretically speaking like the fourth in that progression, so I'm not going to read what it's about, but this little blurb says, "Welcome to the Whitehorn Institute. The first step is always admitting you need help, and you've already taken that step by requesting a transfer into our company." All I'm going to say from my understanding of this is that it is one of the girls that has been at Eleanor West's home has decided that she's actually not. She actually is traumatized by her experiences in another world and would like to be at the other school, which helps support kids that don't want to return to their world and just want to figure out how to adjust back into normal human society. So that comes out January 4th. Next on here, also a sequel, is Sisters of the Forgotten Stars by Lena Rather, which is coming out February 15th. This is the sequel of Sisters of the Forgotten Black, which I read a couple years ago. It was one of the In Our Own World's books. It says, "We lit the spark. Maybe we should be here for the flames." The synopsis reads, "Not long ago, Earth's colonies and space stations threw off the yoke of planet Earth's tyrannical rule. Decades later, trouble is brewing in the four systems, and old Earth is flexing its powers in a bid to regain control over its lost territories. The Order of St. Rita, whose mission is to provide aid and mercy to those in need, bore witness to and defied the central government's atrocities on the remote planet of Iosanga III. The sisters have been running ever since, staying under the radar, while still trying to honor their calling. Despite the sisters' secrecy, the story of their defiance is spreading like wildfire, spearheaded by a growing anti-Earth religious movement called the Revolution. Faced with staying silent or speaking up, the Order of St. Rita must decide the role they will play, and what hand they will have in reshaping the galaxy." I'm excited for that. I really like this. This is kind of, I describe it almost like a gay, more religious Firefly, is the vibe it gives me. Next up here is What We Harvest by Anne Freistadt, which is coming out March 22nd. Their ancestors have an awful lot to pay for, and Ren and Derek are the only ones left to settle old debts. The synopsis of this is, Ren owes everything she has to her hometown, Hollow's End, a centuries-old picture-perfect slice of America. Tourists travel miles to marvel at its miracle crops, including the shimmering, iridescent wheat of Ren's family farm. At least they did, until 5 months ago. That's when the quicksilver blight first surfaced, poisoning the farm of Hollow's End one by one. It began by consuming the crops, a thick silver sludge bleeding from the earth. Next were the animals, infected livestock, and wild creatures staggered off into the woods by day, only to return at night, their eyes fogged white, leering from the trees. Then the blight came for the neighbors. Ren is among the last locals standing, and the blight has finally come to her too. Now the only one she can turn to is her ex, Derek, the last person she wants to call. They haven't spoken in months, but Ren and Derek still have one thing in common. Hollow's End means everything to them. Only there's much they don't know about their hometown and its celebrated miracle crops, and they're about to discover that miracles aren't free. I also love the cover of this. It's got this creepy, twisted, almost rotting looking flower on it, and it's just really appealing to me. Next on here, The Bone Orchard by Sarah A. Mueller, which it comes out March 22nd. Reading the synopsis here. Charm is a witch, and she's alone. The last line of conquered necromantic workers, she now confined within the yard of regrown bone trees at Orchard's house, and the secrets of their marrow. Charm is a prisoner, and a survivor. Charm tends the trees and their clattering fruit for the sake of her children, painstakingly grown and green-grown with its fruit. Shame, justice, desire, pride, and pain. Charm is a whore and a madam. The wealthy and the powerful of Beauregard come to her house to buy time with the girls who aren't real. Except on Tuesdays, which is when the Emperor himself lays claim to his mistress, Charm herself. But now, Charm is also the only person who can keep an empire together, as the Emperor summons her to his deathbed and charges her with choosing which of his awful, faithless sons will carry on the empire, by discovering which one is responsible for his own murder. If she does this last thing, she will finally have what has been denied her since the fall of Inshil, her freedom. But if she does, she will be betraying the ghost, past and present, that live on within her heart. Charm must choose her dead emperor's will or the whispers of her own ghosts. Justice for the empire, or her own revenge. I had no idea that's what this book was about. I'm pretty sure I added it because of the cover and because necromancy, because I'm super hyped for necromancy after reading Gideon the Ninth. Next, An Arrow to the Moon by Emily X. Arpan. This is coming out April 12th. It says, Romeo and Juliet meets Chinese mythology in this magical novel. Hunter Yi has perfect aim with a bow and arrow, but all else in life fears wrong. He's sick of being hunted by his family's past mistakes. The only thing keeping him from running away are his little brother, a supernatural wind, and the bewitching girl at his new high school. Luna Chang dreads the future. Graduation looms ahead, and her parents' expectations are stifling. When she begins to break the rules, she finds her life upended by the strange new boy in her class, the arrival of unearthly fireflies, and an ominous crack spreading across the town of Fairbridge. As Hunter and Luna navigate their family's enmity and secrets, everything around them begins to fall apart. All they can depend on is their love, but time is running out and fate will have its way. I just think it's pretty. Next up here, another one I'm not going to talk about too much is Fevered Star by Rebecca Roanhorse, which comes out April 19th. I have already pre-ordered this one. This is one of the few I'm actually going to win. I'm actually going to definitely read. There are no tides more treacherous than those of the heart. This is the sequel to Black Sun. I loved Black Sun. It might be one of my favorite books, if not my favorite book of the year this year. So, of course I'm going to read the sequel. Nettle and Bone by T.J. Kingfisher, which is coming out April 26th. This isn't the kind of fairy tale where the princess marries a prince. It's the one where she kills him. Mara never wanted to be a hero. As the shy, convent-raised third-born daughter, she escaped the traditional fate of princesses to be married away for the sake of an uncaring throne. But her sister wasn't so fortunate. And after years of silence, Mara is done watching her suffer at the hands of a powerful and abusive prince. Seeking help for her rescue mission, Mara is offered the tools she needs, but only if she can complete 3 seemingly impossible tasks. Build a dog of bones, sew a cloak of nettles, capture moonlight in a jar. But, as is the way of tales of princes and witches, doing the impossible is only the beginning. Hero or not, now joined by a disgraced ex-knight, a reluctant fairy godmother, an enigmatic grave witch, and her foul familiar, Mara might finally have the courage to save her sister and topple a throne. I love a good twist on a fairy tale. Just love it. Next up here, Seasonal Fears by Shauna Maguire, which is coming out May 3rd. This is the sequel to Middle Game, also by Shauna Maguire, obviously. The King of Winter and the Queen of Summer are dead. The fight for their crown begins. Melanie has a destiny, though it isn't the one everyone assumes it to be. She's delicate, she's fragile, she's dying. Now, truly, is the winter of her soul. Harry doesn't want to believe in destiny, because that means accepting the loss of the one person who gives his life meaning, who brings summer to his world. So when a new road is laid out in front of them, a road that will lead through untold dangers towards a possible lifetime together, walking down it seems the only option. But others are following behind, with violence in their hearts. It looks like destiny has a plan for them after all. Interesting. I am not sure how this is going to connect to Middle Game, but I am definitely intrigued by it. Next up here, The Merciless Ones by Namina Forna, coming out May 21st. This is the sequel to The Gilded Ones. So again, I'm not going to read you the synopsis of this one because it gives out too much away about The Gilded Ones, but in this world, girls are outcast by blood and warriors by choice. Get ready for battle. That was actually the tagline for The Gilded Ones, but I feel like it probably fits. Plus, God, look at that gorgeous cover. I love a good illustrated woman holding a sword. Next, All Signs Point to Yes. This is an anthology. This is a literal star-studded anthology that delivers a love story for every star sign straight from the hearts of 13 multicultural YA authors. I'm not entirely sure why this is on my want to read, to be honest, because it's romance, it's YA romance, it's about astrology, which isn't really my thing, and I don't recognize a single author on this list, but something about it has intrigued me. A haunted Aquarius finds love behind the well. An ambitious Aries will do anything to stay in the spotlight. A foodie Taurus discovers the best eats in town with a side of romance. A witchy Cancer stumbles into a curious meet-cute. Whether it's romantic, platonic, familiar, or something else you can't quite define, Love is the thing that connects us. All signs point to yes will take you on a journey from your own backyard to the world beyond the living as it settles us among the stars for 13 stories of love and life. These stories will touch your heart, speak to your soul, and have you reaching for your horoscope forevermore. I don't know, just sounds kind of cute. Another gorgeous cover. Wrath Goddess Sing by Maya Dina is coming out June 7th. The gods wanted blood. She fought for love. Achilles has fled her home and her vicious Myrmidon clan to live as a woman with the Kali, a transgender priestess of the priestesses of Great Mother Aphrodite. When Odysseus comes to recruit the Prince Achilles for a war against the Hittites, she prepares to die rather than fight as a man. However, her divine mother, Athena, intervenes, transforming her body into the woman's body she always longed for, and promises her everything: glory, power, fame, victory in war, and most importantly, a child born of her own body. Reunited with her beloved cousin, Patroclus, and his brilliant wife, the sorceress Meriope, Achilles sets out to war with a vengeance. But the gods, a dysfunctional family of abusive immortals that have glutted on human sacrifices for centuries, have woven ancient schemes more blood-soaked and nightmarish than Achilles can imagine. At the center of it all is the cruel, immortal Helen, who sees Achilles as a worthy enemy after millennia of ennui and emptiness. In love with her newfound nemesis, Helen sets out to destroy everything and everyone Achilles cherishes, seeking a battle to the death. An innovative spin on a familiar tale, this is the Trojan War unlike anything ever told, and an Achilles whose vulnerability is revealed by the people she chooses to fight and chooses to trust. I love this. I love a lot of little things about this. I love the reverse on the Mulan woman dressed up as a man to go to war, like the exact opposite of this. This is a woman being like, please don't send me to war. Thank you. Trans, lesbian, love it. But if I do read this, I really do want to read the Iliad first because I think it'd be nice to have a little bit more context. The Book Eaters by Sunyi Dean, coming out August 9. A story of motherhood, sacrifice, and hope, of queer identity and learning to accept who you are, of gilded lies and the danger of believing the narratives others create for you. Out on the Yorkshire moors lives a secret line of people for whom books are food, and who retain all of a book's contents after eating it. To them, spy novels are a peppery snack, or romance novels are sweet and delicious. Eating a map can help them remember destinations, and children, when they misbehave, are forced to eat dry, musty pages from dictionaries. Devon is part of the family, an old and reclusive clan of book eaters. Her brothers grew up feasting on stories of valor and adventure, and Devon, like all other book eater women, is raised on a carefully curated diet of fairy tales and cautionary stories. But real life doesn't always come with happy endings, as Devon learns when her son is born with a rare and darker kind of hunger, not for books, but for human minds. I have literally no idea what this is going to be about, but I am so intrigued. So intrigued. Alright, first I don't have a cover for, which is Babel, or the Necessity of Violence, an arcane history of the Oxford Translators' Revolution by R.F. Kuang, coming out August 23rd. This is, I would read anything R.F. Kuang wrote at this point. And what about linguistics? Seems good. Babel, a thematic response to the secret history and a tonal response to Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, grapples with student revolutions, colonial resistance, and the use of translation as a tool of empire. 1828, Robin Swift, orphaned by cholera in Canton, is brought to London by the mysterious Professor Lovell. There he trains for years in Latin, Ancient Greek, and Chinese, all in preparation for the day he'll enroll in Oxford University's prestigious Royal Institute of Translation, also known as Babel. Babel is the world's center of translation and, more importantly, of silverworking, the art of manifesting the meaning lost in translation through enchanted silver bars to magical effect. Silverworking has made the British Empire unparalleled in power, and Babel's research in foreign languages serves the Empire's quest to colonize everything it encounters. Oxford, the city of dreaming spires, is a fairy tale for Robin, a utopia dedicated to the pursuit of knowledge. But knowledge serves power, and for Robin, a Chinese boy raised in Britain, serving Babel inevitably means betraying his motherland. As his studies progress, Robin finds himself caught between Babel and the shadowy Hermes Society, an organization dedicated to sabotaging the silverworking that supports imperial expansion. When Britain pursues an unjust war with China over silver and opium, Robin must decide, can powerful institutions be changed from within, or does revolution always require violence? What is he willing to sacrifice to bring Babel down? my heart just swells for joy about the conflict between like knowledge for the sake of knowledge versus knowledge used for unsavory purposes. I'm just in love with this idea. I am terrified by it because it feels like it's going to be over my head, but I am also excited for it. Next up here we have The Monsters We Defy by Leslie Penelope, which is coming out September 9th. You want to talk about fire cover? I am just in love with this one. I don't know what it is about that style of hat. What is that, 1920s? I don't know. I just love that hat. Anyway. A woman able to communicate with spirits must assemble a ragtag crew to pull off a daring heist to save her community in this timely and dazzling historical fantasy that weaves together African-American folk magic, history, and romance. In the summer of 1925, along Washington, D.C.'s Black Broadway, a malevolent entity has begun preying on Negro residents. 23-year-old Clara Johnson is determined to discover what's going on in her community. Using her natural ability to talk with spirits, she begins to investigate, but a powerful spirit tasks her with a difficult quest: steal an ancient magical ring from the finger of a wealthy socialite. When Clara meets Israel Lee, a supernaturally enhanced jazz musician also vying for the ring, the two decide to work together. They put together an unlikely team, including a former circus freak, a pickpocketing Pullman porter, and an aging vaudeville actor to pull off an impossible heist. But a dangerous spirit interferes at every turn, and conflict in the spirit world is leaking out into the human world. With different agendas, even if Clara and Israel pull off the heist, only one of them can truly win. This is giving me, what is that? The Diviners. It's giving me the Diviners, but a little more diverse, and I'm into that. Even Though I Knew the End by C.L. Polk. There's no date for this, so we're into the phase of these don't have dates. An exiled augur who sold her soul to save her brother's life is offered one last job before eternity in hell. When she turns it down, her client sweetens the pot by offering up the one payment she can't resist: the chance to have a future where she grows old with the woman she loves. To succeed, she must track down the White City Vampire, Chicago's most notorious serial killer, in the 3 days she has left. If she fails, only hell and heartbreak await. I loved The Midnight Bargain by C.L. Polk. Plus, this has vampires, and I've been kind of in a vampire mood lately, so a lot there that's sounding pretty good. Moondark Smile by Tessa Gran. No date for this one yet. We do have a cover, and this is the sequel to Nightshine. I don't want to talk about the synopsis to this because it does overlap, although this is about different characters, even in the same world. The fate of an empire lies with a headstrong heir and a restless demon in this lush YA fantasy for fans of Laini Taylor and Girl Serpent Thorn. I love Tessa Gran. So Nightshine is not my favorite of her works by any means, but I do love it. Don't love the cover though. So I just love that. Next on here, The Grimoire of Brave Fates, which is another anthology by a bunch of authors. There's not a lot of information about this one, but what I have: The Grimoires of Grave Fates follows the untimely murder of a professor at an esteemed wizarding school and the efforts of various students to track down his killer, with each chapter portraying a different character's perspective. So maybe anthology isn't quite the right word here because it's a story told from multiple perspectives where each author is writing a different perspective, which I'm fascinated by. So I'm really just interested in that. And then last, definitely not least, probably also a book I will pre-order when it's available, is Nona the Ninth by Tamsin Muir, which also doesn't have a date yet, but I assume probably fall. Since recording, they have announced that this is coming out September 13th. Still no cover, but this is definitely going to be a birthday present to myself. Look forward to meeting Nona, as well as the pack of rabid children, a menacing blue sky circle, and at least one extremely good dog. There isn't a synopsis for this, and even if there was, I wouldn't read it to you because I'm not about to spoil 2 books in a series. This is the third in the Locked Tomb, which is, it might become my new favorite series if it sticks to the landing with the last 2 books. So that's it for 2022 releases. I just want to quickly, we're not going to spend a lot of time on this, I want to quickly look through the 2021 releases that I was excited for and see how many of them I've read. First on here, Remote Control by Nnedi Okorafor. I did read that. I liked it quite a bit. The Gilded Ones by Namina Forna. Read it. Enjoyed it. Let's see. Did not read The Bone Maker. Did not read That Way Lies Madness. The Ones We're Meant to Find. Chosen and the Beautiful. The World Gives Way. For the Wolf. I want to read this so bad, but also it's the first in a series. Same with She Who Became the Sun, The Hopeless and the Romantic. Nope, so 2 out of 10. 20%. But again, I don't actually aim to read these books. They're just ones that I'm excited for. Let me know below any new releases you are excited for, and or your favorite 2021 release from this year. And give a like if you enjoyed this, subscribe if you want to see more from me, and love y'all.